Hi guys, my name is Eric Sliger. I'm with Oregon First Realtors here in Gresham, Oregon. And today I just want to do a quick introduction video for you. So I want to talk a little bit about my background, my employment background, what led me to become a real estate agent, talking about what my career was before, financial advisor. And then I'll tell you a little bit about how I chose Oregon First, Washington First Realtors, and what services I can provide to you. All right, that said, let me dig right in. So first of all, I'm native Oregonian. I was born and raised here in the Portland metro area. The territory that I cover pretty much as far west as Helvetia, north Hayden Island, south Woodburn, maybe even a little bit further than that. And then east, I would say as far as Corbett. Again, those aren't firm boundary lines, but I would say those are pretty much the boundary lines. And that's a pretty large area to cover. You'll find, if you at all look at my social media or however you find me, you'll find that I do a lot of open houses all over the place. So that's what I mean when I say I work everywhere. But I hail out of the east side. Now, Oregon First, Washington First Realtors, we have offices all over the place. So no matter where you are, I can come to you quite often. It's coffee shops or whatever. But we also have offices available to me if you prefer that. That said, a little bit about my employment background. Worked as a financial advisor, as you heard me say early on in the video. Got my Series 7 in 66 and then was basically helping people with their retirement accounts, IRAs, Roth IRAs, 401ks, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds, real estate investment trusts, as well as insurance products like life, health, disability, long-term care, fixed and variable annuity products. Also, at one time was a loan originator, had my NMLS, and a notary for the state of Oregon. All of those sort of worked in tandem, having those licenses. But predominantly, I would say, I worked not only for an independent brokerage, a couple of independent brokerages, but also wirehouse brokerages, and then some big box banks/investment corporations. I worked in the role of financial advisor, banker, private client banker, branch manager, and then eventually back office support. And in all of that, I had great success. Was number 2 in the state of Oregon at one point for one of those companies, and that opened a lot of doors for me. And despite all the success that I had, I always felt like the main thing, the main reason I was successful as I was, as lucky as I was to be that successful, was really because of my clients and because of my passion to help clients achieve their financial goals. But I'll be honest with you, investments wasn't really something that I ever set out when I was in college to do. I never thought, hey, I want to be an investment guy one day. Some people out there really are into it. For me, I think it was more about the client aspect, quite honestly. Although I do believe that whatever experiences you have in life, you can take those with you and you can use them in your next adventure. They're sort of like stepping stones, and you learn about yourself and learn about others' life and professionalism along the way. I knew ultimately it wasn't something I wanted to do. Flash forward about 10, 12 years, I went through a major life transition. And if you've ever gone through a major life transition, a lot of times that might cause you to pull back and ask yourself a deeper question, the bigger, harder, questions, which is, what am I doing? Why do I want to do this? Do I want to keep doing this? What do I want to do in the future? Who am I? I know that might sound weird, but that's the truth, and if you've ever gone through that, kind of the second chapter of your life, and you may in your life, or you may not. You may know exactly what you want to do from day one, or you might still be out there struggling. I just encourage you, don't feel like you're lost and all hope is lost. Just figure out what you want to do. So I spent a few years kind of reevaluating my life and figuring out what I wanted to do. I started with certain passions like, health and fitness, and then photography and feature film, and let's see what else, travel and motorcycles and cars, and you name it. And what I really discovered was that, in all of those, things that I was kind of rediscovering myself, I realized I always really loved helping people. And in the back of my mind, I'd always thought, I really want to help people in the capacity of real estate. I'd known realtors. In fact, I bought and sold a home, and I just always thought, how exciting that is when somebody gets to buy their first home or sell their first home. Sometimes it's not under the greatest circumstances when we have to sell our homes. But because of the past experience with investment and banking in the financial sector, and insurance products, and knowing people who have lost loved ones and even lost children, and what life insurance meant to them, and all of those combination of experiences professionally and personally, and just sort of having a window to the world in the financial sector, I knew I wanted to get involved in real estate, and I wanted to help people with that. So it wasn't too long ago. Like I said, I was in the financial sector for about 10 to 12 years. I say 10 to 12 because I bounced a little bit in that period of time, so maybe 11 years solidly. But I decided to get my real estate license, and that was a little over a year ago. I decided to take that journey. So I started studying pretty hardcore, passed my exams at the end of last year, and ultimately came to work for Oregon First in December of 2024. Full time, I would say I've been at it now for the last 6 months. It's been a very interesting time in the real estate industry. If at all you're not familiar, I won't even go into it. But for those who are, you know that there's been a lot of regulatory changes. We've had obviously, a change at the executive level. We've seen some changes taking place, on the international level, financially in America, and the way we do business with other countries. So all of that, I'd say, has contributed to being a very interesting time in the real estate world. But that said, regardless of what's been happening at a national level or even an international level, or even a regulatory level, at the end of the day, I'm still just a human being, you're still just a human being, and there are people out there that are still wanting to achieve the American dream, which is home ownership. And so that's where I fit into the picture of your world. Before I talk about what I can offer you in terms of my experience, now that you know where I came from and what we offer here at Oregon First, Washington First, I want to talk a little bit about why I chose Oregon First. I think it's important. Having been in the financial sector before and working for different companies, I really got to see culturally and talk to a lot of people along the way about the differences, of working for one brokerage versus another. So what was great about that was when I knew that I wanted to become a real estate agent, I got to start shopping around. And I having had those experiences before, I thought, this will give me the ability to better choose, the first time around who I might want to work for. So the things that I was looking for was I wanted to have a brokerage that was large enough to the market that I was working in, that they were well branded. I wanted enough people working within that organization that were also willing to sort of mentor me if I had questions, to be available to me, but not so large that it felt like everybody was a foreigner to me. And I wanted somebody that was, like I said, well established in the market. I also wanted a brokerage firm that wasn't going to charge me a bunch of fees. If you're out there right now and you're working for one of those big multinational companies and you are being just squeezed on the level of fees, I didn't intend to plug Oregon First, Washington First Realtors, but you might want to check us out. Truly an independent platform, but at the same time that feels like family, feels like community, and really is. I literally meet with my mentor every week. She has 30 years of experience in this business, and we have a lot of people within our organization, within that group of just under 300 in the same category. Some of those people work in commercial real estate, some of those people work exclusively with buyers, some with sellers, some everything. They do everything. I guess that kind of answers the question, why did I choose Oregon First? I am so glad I did. I haven't looked back ever since. I feel like I work with the greatest people and team that I possibly could in the Oregon market. No knock on anyone else, but I'm just very happy with the home that I found here. And I look forward to many years with them. In terms of service that I can offer, one, I want to build confidence in you knowing that even though I am somewhat new to the real estate world, because I have all of those people within my organization who can help me, there isn't a question that we can't answer for you. So no matter what the question might be, even if I don't specifically know the answer, the great part is I have all kinds of people who do and people I can draw on to help. So please don't be apprehensive about working with a new real estate agent who has all this experience in the financial sector before, because I can really help you. In terms of what I really am focused on right now, it's helping first-time home buyers and first-time home sellers. So if you're in that category, you know you're gonna be, and you wanna start working with somebody, reach out to me. Again, all my contact information will be there. But I also plan in the future to help developers, to help investors, and to eventually work in the commercial market. We have quite a few agents within our organization that actually already doing commercial transactions and are experts at it. So if you're out there right now and you had no idea that Oregon First offers that, just go to OregonFirst.com and you can, plug in your information, explaining exactly what you're looking for in terms of help with your commercial transaction, or just through me and I can get you connected to somebody within. So that said, hopefully that gives you an introduction to me as a realtor. Again, I hail out of the east side, but I go everywhere within sort of that boundary that I mentioned. And, if at all you haven't, followed any of my social media, you just found this ad here on Facebook or wherever it was, please consider, following me. Please consider sharing, liking, subscribing, commenting even on the types of videos that you would like to see moving forward. I'm gonna, of course, create a series of tips and tricks along the way that will help, and I'll keep documenting all the open houses that I'm doing and anything else I can along the journey that I think would be helpful for others. But it costs you nothing to follow me and subscribe, and it really helps me out as I go along the journey. So, all right, that said, I hope to hear from you. Thanks again for watching if you made it all the way to the end of the video. And until next time, we'll see you. Take care. Bye-bye.